Hi, everybody, and welcome to the GLP-1 Diaries. My name is Karen, and I'd like to welcome you to my new channel. Today, I want to introduce myself, and I filmed a bunch of my background while I was sitting in the car yesterday, and I just wanted to change up the introduction just a bit and say hi, and I'll add in the rest of the video next. Thanks for joining me. What I want to do in this video is I just kind of want to introduce myself and tell you a little bit about where I'm coming from and why I'm on this journey, and a little bit about my history. So I am 61 years old, and I have been overweight or obese the majority of my adult life. As a teenager, I was very athletic. I was involved in sports through school. I played softball. I was on the softball team. I played floor hockey. I was very involved in equine things. I had a horse. I rode horseback every day, all the time. And I was probably, I'm 5'6", and in high school I wore a size 11 jeans, and I was about 175 pounds, and I was solid. By weight standards, I was probably overweight, but I was very muscular. I did a lot of swimming. Tons of swimming as well. So I was very athletic, and once I got to college, that changed. Freshman 15, freedom from somebody else providing what I ate and deciding what I ate. And then I just started gaining weight from then, and that continued. So I'm at the point now where I have several health concerns that are starting to niggle up and are probably going to start to be more problematic and continue to escalate. So I do have high blood pressure that is controlled through medication. That's the only medication I take right now. I have 2 pills I take for high blood pressure, and one is a beta blocker, one is a diuretic. And I've had that since about 2010, and it's well controlled with medication. It's under control, but I know that if I lost a good chunk of weight, that would help, and that would probably decrease and improve my blood pressure, possibly to the point where I would not need medication. My cholesterol levels are slightly elevated, but they're not at the point where my doctor is concerned. My primary care doctor is concerned about it. He thinks that it's fine. They are elevated. They have been for years, but they're not too high, or not high enough that he's concerned about it medically. My triglycerides are high. My good cholesterol is low. My bad cholesterol is high. I think that's how they work. They want the bad cholesterol to be low and the good cholesterol to be high. Mine's reversed. So it's borderline. My fasting glucose levels are elevated. Formally, I'm probably at the pre-diabetic level. My primary is not worried about that, but we're watching it. So if that starts to increase more, I really want to avoid moving into type 2 diabetic. No, if I can prevent that, that will be a very good thing. So I do have concerns about my glucose A1C levels. I say for quite some time they've been on the higher end of normal, and now they're kind of nudging up into the pre-diabetic range, and that needs to get under control. I also have pretty much all my adult life, I have had elevated hemoglobin levels. Not to the point where it's a problem where they want me to undergo regular phlebotomy, but I do have elevated. I think for women, the range, the top end of the range is 15, whatever the unit of measurement is. Mine's typically a little bit above 15. And 15.2, 15.3, 15.9. I think it's been over 16 a few times. I had in the past been donating blood on a regular basis, and I did like the double dose where they would take out a pint, spin it, get the good stuff out they wanted, return the plasma and the and some saline, and then they would take a second pint. Same thing. So through Red Cross, it was what they called the Power Red donation. And I'm type O positive, and I have high hemoglobin, so I meet the weight requirement, obviously. And they've always been happy to take my blood. I've also those levels have been high always. I remember when I was in my early 20s, and I would go for, they'd do like a little finger prick, and they'd say, it's like, oh, you've got high hemoglobin, you must eat lots of liver. And I'm like, oh, no. They said, you take iron supplements. I'm like, if I take iron supplements, I pee neon yellow. I don't. It's just, so I think the slightly elevated hemoglobin is just my normal. But in more recent years, and probably like the last 10, 15 years, my red blood cell count has been elevated. Oh, the sun's gone behind a cloud. I'm sitting out in the car right now. Anywho, my red blood cell count has been slowly climbing. And it's at the point now where in the last few years, it has been above the normal range, what the upper band for normal is. So my primary care doctor decided it's time to have me see, and over 2-3 years, the number has just been slowly increasing. So he wanted me to go and see a hematologist about this to see if there was any underlying problem. So I went and saw a hematologist, and she ran a whole boatload of tests, determined I do not have blood cancer, thankfully. And then she was trying to find what the underlying problem might be. So one of the things that might cause elevated red blood cell counts are obesity is one of the things that can lead to that. But it can also obesity can also lead to sleep apnea. So she referred me to a pulmonary specialist. And the pulmonary specialist, I went and did an overnight in-lab sleep study. Not fun. You don't sleep very well at all. You're hooked up to 5 million wires. But the results of that said I did not have sleep apnea. And he did a carbon dioxide test where they take they took a blood sample out of my, instead of doing it like the ones they usually do up in your elbow, they took one, I think it was a venous draw, so they took it at the inside of the wrist. And that came back normal. So I didn't have, what do they call that? Obesity related, I can't remember. But that wasn't what the problem was. So then they had me do an at-home sleep study. And that came back saying that I had mild sleep apnea. So then they wanted me to get a CPAP machine. And I'm like, oh, no. So I don't want to try to sleep with a CPAP machine. I'm claustrophobic-ish. The thought of trying to sleep with one of those things was just like, no. So one of his other cures for sleep apnea is to lose weight. So I went back to see my hematologist, and then we got to talking. So if you don't want to wear the CPAP machine, then what you have to do is lose weight. So she thought, okay, I'll send you to an endocrinologist to work with the hormone stuff, and they do different options for they do different medicated options for weight loss. So I got an appointment to see the endocrinologist, and we decided there was two options. Either I could go and see a bariatric surgeon to look into either gastric sleeve or gastric bypass, or I could look at the GLP-1 medications if I needed more help than just diet and exercise alone. Because I've done the diet and exercise alone routes many times. I've tried many different diets over the years. Some healthy diets, some not so healthy diets. And I struggle with sticking to it for any length of time. And I've lost a significant amount of weight several times, but gained it back and gained back more. I've got healthy enough that probably almost 20 years ago, the hubby and I ran a half marathon. And then that weight all started coming back again. Yeah, that was probably just over 20 years ago. Goodness, time flies. Anywho, so I can lose the weight. I really struggle with the discipline of sticking with it. So I'm looking at options that will help that. So I got in touch with the bariatric surgery center, and we come to find out that my health insurance bariatric surgery is excluded. They will not cover it under any circumstances, period. No, do not collect $200. Do not, just go directly. No, period. Doesn't do it. Don't do it. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. And so I thought, with the cost of it, I thought $20,000 to $30,000 would be my cash price of that. And I'm like, that is not doable. Right now, that is not doable. So then I thought, okay, well, work with the endocrinologist and we'll look into different options for the different types of GLP-1 medications as a way to lose weight. So, long story, not really short, it's still a long story. I went and saw my endocrinologist yesterday. I'm filming this on the, the 19th of June. And I went and saw her again, second appointment with her yesterday, and she is going to start me on Wegovy. Since I'm not diabetic, Ozempic and Mounjaro are not options. So the options were either Wegovy or Zepbound. And the pricing, cash pricing, because my insurance also does not, my insurance is kind of stinky. My insurance also does not cover GLP-1 medications. And when I phoned them to check and see, I just phoned the insurance company just out of curiosity to see how much it was. And they said that Wegovy would be per month around $1,500. And I'm like, yeah, no, I'm not paying $1,500 a month for that. So when I talked to the endocrinologist, she was saying that she is going to prescribe Wegovy. She started me with a sample pack to see what my body thinks of it. And I will take my first shot tonight. That's a 0.25 milligram, I believe. Don't quote me on that. I have to double check. I don't have the pens with me. They're at home in the fridge. So I took that home, and the cost through their specialty pharmacy at this medical center is reasonable per month. I think it's like $150 a month cash price. So that is reasonable for me. I think that's reasonable for me. So I will be taking my first shot this evening, on Friday evening, on the 19th of June. So what my plans are for this channel, now that I've told you a really long story, is I am going to use this channel to document my journey through improving my health, through how this works for me, what I think of it. I plan on filming, I probably will be doing weekly videos for the time being. I probably will film it almost like a vlog style, where I'll probably film like some of my meals. I will use it to document how I react to the medication and what I do to combat any potential side effects. I'm going into it with the attitude that this is going to be fine. I rarely have side effects with medications. I tolerate pretty much any meds I've taken, I tolerate quite well. The only one I have not tolerated well was, I used to take lisinopril for high blood pressure, and I started to develop this little nagging tickly cough that would just, I had to quit taking that. I had to switch to the other two I'm taking now. But that's the only real reaction I've had. I've had some mild reactions to injection sites for vaccines. I had the shingles vaccine a couple years ago, and I had the injection site. I reacted to it, but that's just like a little temporary thing. So I'm going into it with the attitude that, I'm going to be fine. This is just, I'm not going to have any troubles with this. And we'll see how that works. We'll see if that's what the actual case is. So that's the plan with this channel. I am going to document what I go through week by week, what I eat, how I'm reacting to the medication, what I'm thinking about, how it's going, what I do to increase my amounts of exercise. The hubby and I spend time we have a treadmill, which we lovingly call our dreadmill. We spend time, he does a mile every morning, and I do about a quarter mile. So I'm going to be increasing my distance on that. I want to get to the point, and we do that 4 days a week. So I want to increase that to probably doing a mile 5, 6, maybe even 7 days a week. Do a mile every day. That's my goal, is to increase to that. And then over time, I will also start incorporating free weights, and possibly down the road start going to the pool or going to the gym. I wish I could use the pool. Right now I'm sitting out in the car outside the Y while the husband's in having a swim. They use so much chlorine here that I don't tolerate chlorine well. So I wish I could swim there, but my eyes turn, see that, and you can't see the car behind me. My eyes just turn bright red. They pour tears. I don't deal with chlorine well. Even with goggles, it still sneaks in there. But I might start using the exercise equipment at the Y over time. But I'm not in a hurry to get started with that. I will start adding weights and increasing my time on the treadmill. So that's one of my plans, alongside with what I'm doing with the GLP-1. And I also plan on just documenting the changes in my body. My next video, I'll probably give you more of a full body. As you can see from here, I'm very overweight. But I'll probably share my weight later. I don't think I want to do that right yet. But my BMI is way up there. It's way too high. And my weight is way too high. So, and I'm starting to notice I'm getting aches in my hips and my knees. No, my knees are fine. My feet kind of hurt sometimes. I have swelling in my feet and ankles sometimes. Yeah, we just have to fix this. So we need to downsize. Karen needs to be downsized. So that's my plan, and I kind of hope you'll tag along for the journey. Hopefully my experiences will be helpful to someone else, and hopefully you'll stick around. So if you found this content interesting, informative, you want to see more of what I'm doing to downsize myself, stick around. I hope to post videos, like I say, once a week, and I'll continue like a week by week updates of how I'm doing. And like, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. And I'll see you again after I've put my teeth in, Karen. I will be back in a week, and I will let you know how my first week being on Wegovy has gone. Alrighty, thank you so much for joining me, and I hope to see you again very soon. Bye, everyone.